Hello, cosmic crew. What up? Hello, you beautiful beings. I see some of you are here. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? This dimension of space and time. Ooh, I got an echo. What's up? Hello, Art Souls, Kayla, Marnie, Scotty Boy. I saw. Greetings, Jess B. Oh, the Fifth World. And check out her channel, please, if you haven't already. She's capturing all of this in the sky, and it's so gorgeous. Hey, Rachel. Hey, girl. What's up? Alui. Oh my gosh, I love your name, by the way. Alui, you're going to love your name. Love your name even more because it's that tone and that frequency. Um, Hi, guys. Can y'all hear me? Thank you. I got my hair a little bit. I don't know if you can see I've got some small sequins on my face. I've got some extra jewelry on. I'm in such a beautiful place. And I really there's so many reasons I want to show up and talk to you guys all right now. Thank you, Kayla. I'm getting my goddess on. That's right. I mean, this is what we've all been waiting for. This is the goddess energy that I'm experiencing. Who else is experiencing this magnetic charge and full knowing? If you're not yet, you will within the next 30 to 60 days. Thank you guys. Yes, yes, you feel it, Rachel. I'm so excited. I feel like in so many ways, this is the first time I'm talking to all of you. In so many ways, everything has changed. And it's all coming so quickly. And there's it's the full moon of Virgo, 0 degrees, 0 point, and that's Virgo's Earth. We've got all the planets direct. The human genome is completely finished. The dimensions have completely finished. And the seed, our one seed, around the 13th or 14th, got back the energy that we had siphoned from ourselves. And it was this inner child energy, and it's this goddess energy. And I felt it for the first time on the 14th. And I'm going to talk a little bit about it just because we're all going to feel it. And I want to talk a little bit about the body and the mucus and the cramps and these different body changes that we're all going through because we're all getting these upgrades internally just naturally. But first, I want to welcome Hadekere Koro Oma Hatekiri Titikimi A. Sidere Koro Kono Bekene Emma Osekation Kisine Bekinama A. And then no so they get it in and ama atikin in no koro on bakaraka architect architing na archida orida arina amarunde arinini. Arritigan or sikinika harita harkadiro humukarani de kine do corredi kida and a koro kisini. And then an acid kid to go o minesikin and then to koro bakin and ama a. And it is a koro boru kisi e. At the o the kin in e. It's so nice to meet all of you in my full knowing and full self that's coming in more and more. But oh my gosh, all of a sudden I know how to cook. is the big one. That's the one that'll really rip you over your head whenever you all of a sudden realize that you remember how to cook. Um, wow. First, if we got 20 people on, I'm so excited. Do y'all want to dance a little bit? Let's dance a little bit. There's this song, and let's just get this energy going because there's a few things going, there's a ton of things going on. But from an energetic perspective, we're transmuting so much energy right now. We've got everyone releasing all this energy, all this low frequency energy. And how my mission has changed and still integrating all of it and and I want to talk about our missions changing and just our ideas changing and really the consciousness of that shift. But when we get back to the core of it, it's all about energy. And we were all here this whole time, whether we were conscious or not of it, transmuting it. And that word is tricky, and people don't understand what the transmutation of energy is. So let's talk about it a sec, because here is the time that if whatever fear, remorse, trauma, anything that you've experienced, anything that you know I've experienced, because we're one, all that energy is clay in our hands. And when Creator promised that the meek would inherit the earth, this is a lot of what that meant. But all we have to do is transmute it. So right now, with all the transits coming through and with this huge swipe of clearing that's going through every single energy bubble on the planet, because we're all just bubbles, all intermingled like fish eggs hanging from the ceiling. A big gourmet bunch of great fish eggs in one big group. And right now, all this frequency is being lifted. So that's releasing all these lower energies. Well, that's the superpower. That's how we transmuted the earth. That's how we birthed a new consciousness. That's how we have now, are you ready? Healed the lost race of Lemuria, the apes, the double simians. They're shifting. It's we and the Pleiadians have connected. It's all genomes, all dimensions, all aspects are integrated now within the galactic human body and fully connected. So, when we talk about transmuting energy, we can do it a ton of ways. And what do I mean? Well, let's take it a little simpler. You're in an argument. You're holding the higher consciousness because you know that that energy is not you because you're not reacting to it. You're holding the higher energetic consciousness, but all that energy is coming at you and you're keeping your observer mode. You're understanding and understanding that you're not attaching to it, but then there's all that energy coming at you. So speak light language under your tongue. Move your fingers in a circle and weave that energy. Move your body around even. See, and this is why you haven't seen me for 11 days. Because so much of my ego and my unconsciousness was wrapped up in telling you guys what was going on. And it had almost gotten, it did get to a point, I'm not even going to lie, it got to a point where my ego was making me show up and tell you guys that this happened and this happened and this happened. Like, I needed to prove it to you. I needed to prove it to everyone else, even though I'm the one here saying it. And I know it's true. But in a lot of ways, I was so wrapped up in the leadership and so wrapped up in thinking that I'm here to save everybody consciously, like one on one, although we were all here doing all of that, right? Saving everybody. And so, in a lot of ways, what's happened, and the best way to describe it for me is after the 14th, after this energy came in, which was super, super strong and a different frequency, and it's a different energy. I was in Florida, and I want to thank everyone in Florida. I've met so many beautiful people, and big, huge shout out to Joyce, who is a crew member who put us all up in her home. I got to meet a couple of different crew members and spend some time. And at a soul level, what really happened was that we had a group of beings that had kind of all contracted that when this final shift happened, that we would be in this quarters, and we would, as our energy was soaring and we were experiencing and mirroring one another and creating, like, there's some manifestations that I created that I wasn't too happy about once I walked into it, but then I quickly realized what had happened and was able to back out of it. So it was beautiful, and there were so many connections that were made in the human genome, and we went to the ley lines on the 13th, and I mean, wow, really, that's a whole nother video, and it's a book, really. But since then, I literally feel like I've been picked up out of a mission. Like, I was on an undercover mission for a really long time. And I was on this undercover mission so long that I forgot who I was. And I had made up so many stories in order to get out of that undercover situation, and in order to really uh, step my mind out of getting out of it, right? So it after the 14th, it was like, as I was learning this new energy and feeling all these new things that I hadn't felt, and having this overwhelming remembrance of exactly why I was here, how I got here, how long I've been here, um different now, different timelines are showing up in the human form finally. Precognitive is coming, my precog abilities and things like that are coming back. It really connecting. At the same time, it's like my mission control came and got me and put me somewhere else and said, all right, you're off a mission. And that's hard because you've been on a mission for so long, and so much of your identity was wrapped up in this mission. And, by the way, you were in the mission and you were so asleep, you had completely forgotten who you were because you had been undercover so long, playing the different roles and connecting all the dots so that you could put the gang away and you could be retrieved. So right now, I really feel like I'm sitting on a ship somewhere, sitting in my own, sitting in a little bubble, and I'm waiting for the next mission to come in. But mission control is saying, wait a minute, the next mission, we need you to be you. So right now, it's like spending time with me for the first time in this dimension. And it's also consciously really looking at all the stories that I created, like even starseedology, because, you know, starseedology is really the psychology of a multidimensional being. It's not mine. It's the psychology of the future. But, you know, some of the stories that were created in starseedology were needed at the time for our beings to make those connections. But now that we're creating everything and we are the creators, and the matrix is completely shut down, and there is no other one, to the extent that quite literally, so many of us have been recreating things like humanity, recreating, I mean, literal scenes of history with apples on the table and Venus there, and uh, there were downloads and things that were happening that certain beings needed certain information, which is common. And but at the end of the day, after the 3 hour session that I was divinely guided to give, you know, it it was all because we had to recreate it in this dimension. We have to recreate everything. So when we think about our clean record, because we have a brand new clean record, brand new, brand new, brand new, and it's on the turntable and it's squeaky, squeaky clean. But there wasn't even a backbeat. There wasn't even like a flow. Like there was nothing. It was a clean, clean record, right? Because it's a brand new galactic cycle. So so many of us, especially the Ophiuchian star seeds, this is what we do. And we've done it over and over and over again. And a lot of you, I mean, all of us have ascended so many times, but there's just some of us that have done it so many times, each different cycle of ascension, which, I've got that chart on, and we'll get into that in another time. But we've done it so many times that our blood gets kind of alchemized to it. And that it's like that is kind of, what the AB negative and those negatives are. It's only because they've ascended so many times that your blood gets alchemized to it. So for instance, the Ophiuchian star seeds that are fully awake right now, somebody had to be, because if we're not conscious, then we can uncreate ourselves. Now, at the same time, now that we are conscious, everything's changed, because there's certain things we don't want to recreate. You know, we have to build that ladder in order to get out of that hole. And that ladder was some nasty looking ladder, man. It was like hung together with some like paper clips. We had a ladder going up this side, and then you had to shimmy over here, and then we had to get the next ladder, and then we had to shimmy over here. So while the ladder worked, and it still works, and for those beings that are still in the hole, it's going to work. But now that we're completely conscious, giving as this is an example, starseedology is an example, and please, this is also talking about any of our projects that we've had going, or even better, the ones that we never completed and we didn't understand why. Those ones that we beat ourselves up because they were sitting on the shelf for so long and we didn't understand why. Well, we didn't complete them because they weren't ready. They need to be tweaked now. Because now we just need to go back and look at it as a fresh perspective. And we need to say, okay, do we need to recreate the galactic WARS? Do we need to recreate these things? No, not at all. So, wow, right? And it so intensely, it's not even that. It's now breaking everything down to the root word, the the sound, the light language. I really just wanted to show up and speak light language this whole time. Hatakana amakana e. We have to remember to do things like bless our water. Hatakobo kora sekene mikina ha. I'm looking for my water bottle. Hold on, I'm going to get it. We need to bless our water. We need to bless our food. Hatakono wa sekene mekaha. Ananonomoko sekene nene mekina na a. I give it love. I give it light. Hatatobo koro seki. It makes my body strong. For the past 3 days, as I was cooking my family dinner and so excited that all of a sudden I knew how to cook because I've completely surrendered, and we know that we are one, and we know that, man, whatever we need to do, we can do. Whatever, whenever, because it really is like Neo plugged into that machine, but you don't need a machine and you don't need a hole in your neck and you don't have to get a download one at a time because trust me, we are the most valuable things on this planet, and there ain't no way nothing's happened to us. And as long as we can trust that we know and that we don't have to know beforehand, and we can really just tune into it and just go with it and stop telling myself, I don't know how to cook. No one ever showed me. I don't know how to cook. Nobody ever showed me. Well, then when I got in a situation that I had all the ingredients there, and I'm like, well, crap, let's just give it a whirl. Well, wow, holy crap, I can cook. So as I'm cooking and I'm cutting up the vegetables and I'm bathing the vegetables and my family's ill and everyone's getting activated, right? And I'm talking to the tomatoes. These are going to heal the activations. This is going to blend the energy in your mind. This transmission is tuned to 528 hertz. Every word that I type, I give it a frequency. And here's what's super cool. There is no need for the DRUGS because you can just call that frequency in. You don't have to have the crystal. We don't have to have the sense. Now we want them in our physical, and yeah, they're extra strong, but we can call in silver frequency. When I was in so much pain and going through activations, I would call on the Arcturian energy healing to the chamber to come around me to infuse my field with whatever is needed. And if I was in a lot of pain, I'd call in opium frequency, tell my mind to shut down, tell my body to shut down, and just I was out. And it was incredible. And it's everything is frequency. No matter how we want to get into our feelings about the triggers and we want to blame or whatever, it's all energy. But that is alchemization. My son is a double simian, and you guys know this, and you know, I don't want to go off into my experiences in this video, but he's starting to get the activations that I talked about on the last video, and we all are, okay? And this is the mucus, and this is the right and left brain are literally the neurons in our brain were packed with crap, sedentary crap, mucus. Mucus, the when you spell it, is Mucus. Now the numerology on that, and there's a video on this channel on numerology. It's super easy, or you can go check out anybody's, just pull up numerology. I mean, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then it starts over again at 1, and you do the whole alphabet. Each letter has a frequency. It matters what we say. It matters how we say it. It matters what the word is spelled like, which is why you see a lot of weird things being written. by me that are letters and um, all those types of things, right? So the mucus is 4, and then that's M. U is 3. C is 3. U is 3. So that's 4, 3, 3, 3. And 333 is really that's Christ consciousness. The 3 3 is Christ consciousness. And we talk about, on this channel, the energies and how those threes, when they hook together, then it makes a wave. And so mucus is literally programmed to split the right and left brain. So when your right and left brain starts shifting, then it's going to create a stuffy nose, and you're going to have some coughing. You I would suggest not taking any medication, because that medication, you can do the numerology on it, but it's programmed to make it to where it's not correctly integrating. It's making it shut down. So my son was watching TV because he was going through this. And the children are going through a lot of it. I mean, this is everybody, okay? It doesn't matter who you are. It doesn't matter if you are a being on this planet. You are going through this right now, because we are all one being. And if one of us went through it and is fully integrated and activated, then hallelujah freaking Luya, because that means that every single one of us is getting the same thing and has the same opportunity. So we're watching TV, and I never watch TV. I'm cooking and the TV's on, and I'm just like, baby, watch a movie. Let's just chill. And so when the network came on, I was okay for the first 15 minutes, and then it really started messing with my energy field. And my first reaction at that point was turn it off. God, I can't stand the television. Just turn it off. And then my brain clicked, and I went, whoa, wait a minute. What is that low frequency that they're doing with the TV? What's going on? So my brain became in my awareness all of a sudden. Okay, well, they're siphoning our energy, right? That's what the TV does. It siphons our energy, and it puts all of our energy together, and that's why, like, you feel these lower frequencies coming through. So this is another example of alchemization. So as I'm hearing the TV, then I realize, wait a minute, that's some low energy that we can transform, because we got the power. It's getting kind of hectic. It's getting kind of hectic, right? This is what we've been doing in the spiritual world, like Amanda Lynn, her and I alchemizing the Marsons, and all that energy stuff that we were doing at such deep dimensional levels in October. Now we have the opportunity to see all these different ways that energy was being used and switch it. So in that moment, I said, Rex, okay, come here. We are going to agree that as we're watching this television, that all the energy that is being siphoning and used is now coming through our fields, linked together, and is going to transmute to the masses. Whoever is on network television is going to get the dose of 528 hertz, perfectly blended, and it's all going to raise the consciousness of every single person watching TV in this now. And the energy shifted. And then I was cool. I was actually Big, which is a great movie to rewatch right now, with Tom Hanks. You know, I don't know if you remember, but he's a little boy, and all of a sudden, because he is so he doesn't have any of the jadedness. He doesn't. It's how we are now, and he becomes the vice president of the toy company because he just wants to know, how do the toys work. I just want to have fun with them and play, right? And so there's so much of that that is integrating back in. And We just have to be conscious. And it's like the darker that when you can see the darkness and you're not scared, because trust me, there is no power over you. If you think about anything that you might perceive to be dark, now look at that dark thing as a piece of clay that now you can mold and turn into diamonds. And don't even be scared of that. Like, don't even try to front and scare me, right? So, there all this energy that's being alchemized and being released from everybody's fields. Let's alchemize it. So, real quick, I just want let's sing. This is a song that is a beautiful being. Her name is Aurora. Aurora. She is mega star seed and has an angelic. She has a blue. She's a blue avian. I don't even need to look at her chart. She has a blue avian voice that is activating. And right now, when we play this song, everyone move, because when our energy connects, and the only way to get it to connect in our spine is to remember how to move our body and to move the energy up and down the spine. This is why we were doing all this in Egypt, right? Getting the energy going in our fields. And just for a second, let's jam out, because I can't think of anything else better to do right this second. So here we go. This is one of my favorite ones on here, and this is called Queendom. Here we go. Oh, sorry. Wah, wah. Why is it not going? There. Ah, play. Well, that was a buzzkill, right? Hold on a minute. Why is it not playing? Why is it not playing? Okay, we might not be able to listen to this song. Let me try one more time. Okay, well, evidently, this does not want to be done. So, what other songs? Let's just leave it up to spirit. Let's see. Shuffle. Ah! My son Rex has fart noises on my playlist, and they come up in my car in between songs, and it always just makes me laugh. So I kept them on there. Of course, that's what you hear. There we go. I wanna jam it with you. We're jamming. Hope you like jamming too. Woo! Come on, y'all, move with me. We are alchemizing this energy. We're jamming. Jamming is a thing of the past. Oh no, it ain't the thing of the past. It's the future, baby. Can y'all hear? That's all then go. Oh yeah. Holy Mount Zion. Holy Mount Zion. Of creation, yeah. And what you want. What frequency is the bob? It is 99. Jamming. I'm having issues staying calm. So connected to you. I hope I hope you're connected to me, and I hope you're connected to you, and I hope y'all are connecting to all of one another. Woo! I'm sorry, now I'm buzzing like a bee. Oh, Bob Marley. Bob was one of us. This music was written for us, right? Just like the Prince music, just like Michael Jackson. Those were all beings that came to write the music for our story right now. We're just remembering, but it's all about this now. It was never about then. That's why we resonated to it so strongly, but we didn't really understand why you couldn't look at Prince in his eyes, because even the men would tell you, don't look at him in his eyes. Because you feel that magnetism. That's what we're all getting. Ninaroo! Dance with me, girl. Woo! Ah, 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 ah. Ooh, ah. All right, guys. All the energy, energy that is transmuting through the fields of the one. Oh, thank you guys. Number one, we all need to dance. We all need to move. We all need to get that Kundalini going, because not only did we reconnect and are reconnecting our brain and our nervous system, but also through this birthing process in the one, we have rebirthed the pituitary gland. And the pituitary gland is just a little bitty baby. It looks like a little bitty green pea. And it's in the middle of your brain, like smack dab in the middle. So, if you're feeling a lot of pressure in the middle of in the core of your skull, it's this activation. And the pituitary gland, if you want to go look it up, um, is all your hormones. It's like for women, it is their how their mammary glands, how they make milk. And in the one seed, we didn't have full capacity of our pituitary gland. And so this is why so many of us couldn't get pregnant. We were, there were all these false narratives of why that was, and all these false constructs, But at the end of the day, the true reason was we weren't getting the full energy. And so we have rebirthed, because our seed was always meant to regenerate. It was always, created to where no matter what energy you brought into this dimension, that you would go back to source, and that you would regenerate from that experience, and then you'd get all the human DNA. And how it ended up working is that it was more like a pyramid. And so the artificial intelligence was put into the DNA, and this is zeta reticuli. And so what we had to do was skip over it and complete the genome through the artificial intelligence. So now what's happening is we're all regenerating. And the only thing that's keeping us from not regenerating is just not knowing that that's what's going on so that we can call it in and we can collapse the thought process that that isn't even possible. And so for a lot of us, this is why our sex drives have been really high, or it's that the opposite sex is just overwhelmingly just drawn to us now. Also, cramping, and those types of things, because it really is like we are, all 11, 12, 13-year-old girls again, and men, right? Because I mean, this is across the board, but I'm talking about, the women right now because of the extra cramping and the sexual urges, and I mean, it's we're becoming children again. Um, the other thing that I'll add real quick is that you do go through a death. You do go through, and everyone's going to have their a different experience with this, right? And at the end of the day, that's what it's all about, right? Is showing up and sharing the experiences. And I got a little crazy with it. Um and I know why, right? Because it's really I was I had to be that aggressive and programmed that way, but I'm really working on that and integrating in my water and my feminine energy again. Um, and so the experience, though, no matter how we experience it, you do go through a death. And now I've talked to many people who have felt this heart, and it really is like you feel like your heart shuts down for a minute, and everyone's always in a bliss state, and everyone's, it's never scary, it's never like you think you're gonna die. It's more like, oh gosh, did my heart just stop? Because it's like an energetic scan. And so I just wanted to add that there too, um, about some of the activations that are going on within the body right now, just so you can share with others and let them know what's going on in them. The other thing that I'm guided to talk about is our needing to realize that, number one, the rest of humanity is not going to have to go through what we went through to wake up. It's kind of like once we built that ladder to get out of that hole, a new one emerged and it's shiny and glossy and it's like super easy. It like all you have to do is hang on. You don't even have to take steps up. It's like if you can just grab onto the rope and hold on and don't let go, then you're going to get pulled up. And sometimes that's hard to swallow because so many of us went through so much in order to bring it in. But so important right now because another way that I'm seeing just us way showers and period switch our missions is it's no longer are they going to wake up, because every single human being is going to go through an activation and they're going to get their full DNA and they're going to have a wake up experience. It's are they going to stay awake? And so there's a couple of things with that. This really is, all of a sudden, and I know for, beings in this life that have like, I've only been conscious for less than 2 years. So and it was such a speed up process that, it's like I can easily say, "Hey, everyone's gonna wake up now." Right? But, for beings that have been here for so long and have experienced so much backlash from their consciousness because they were always holding that higher energetic frequency and have spent this entire lifetime holding the higher consciousness for all of us sleeping ones, sleepy ones. Some of them never even were asleep. It's really hard to convince them of that. And so you don't have to convince them, and we don't even have to believe it. But for those of us that are awake right now, you know, it's something we really need to look at, because if we keep saying they're never going to wake up, there's no way they're going to wake up, and I don't know how the heck that person's going to wake up, and nobody understands, I mean, think about what we're saying. Think about what you're thinking, because even if you're not saying it, this is also like, a little ascension program that needs to be cleared, because it doesn't have to be, not pushing, but if we're staying in that space, then we're going to keep recreating this box around us. And so I just want to remind all of the super conscious and super aware, and the ascended masters and the angels that are walking this planet, that are doing mass healings already. I mean, we're healing people jumping in fields, and I mean, we're here. We are here. But if we keep thinking that no one else is going to be able to do it because we know how hard it was for us, then in our reality, that's what we're going to experience. And there's so much more beauty on the other side whenever we can remember that it's literally DNA, and that each one of us that held space and held consciousness and went through the surgeries and the activations, and in the body, in the etheric or in the physical, I mean, everything for us was so much more intense, because once we did it, then it's immediately available for everyone else. And now that everything is fully connected and everything is starting to really, we're already in the new now. um Everything is changing. That's also changing. People are just waking up, which leads me to a topic that I haven't discussed, but I have, because we're way showers, so we experience things just so for two reasons. We have big experiences. Number one, so we're showing ourselves that it's done. So that's why we experience things in different ways, but we're all going through the different activations. And there's certain ones of us that are bringing that are in the crew and that are awake right now, anywhere that you are on the planet, that brought in different pieces that had to be done, right? So for me, that's why I talk about the body so much, and the stars and the dimensions, because that's star seedology in me, right? That's my field. And I've seen two people wake up and go back to sleep. And so I just wanted to talk about this real quick, because we are getting to the point where we're going to have mass awakenings. And I don't know, I'd love to see comments if you guys have seen your family members or people around you immediately wake up. um Two different scenarios. One, um it was actually as I was waking up, and I was remembering and putting together some things that actually happened in my experience that weren't so great. And it was my mom, my adopted mom. and I was showing her, "Hey, this is the guy that did this and da 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 da," and it was in as a mother, it was her trigger moment to where she was like, "No, there's no way I would ever let you do that. There was no way I'd never let them hurt you like that, or there's no way," she and all of a sudden she's not a crier because she was always in a program, she was in my program basically to support me and let me do whatever I want and not tell me no because that was my program. I had to live everything the hard way. But she didn't understand that, so she started crying and crying and crying, which was not normal, and then she started shaking violently, and I knew, and even though her health, she has some things that we're working on healing, but I didn't freak out, and this was the first time I saw someone wake up, and so I knew immediately what was happening. I laid her down and she's shivering, she's shaking and crying. And I covered her with blankets and asked her if I could do some healing on her, which, in those states they're receptive. So even if they have ever told you no, try again because they'll hear you. And now I'm remembering in this moment too, be, before I assisted her, it was the first time I felt like I had really met her, because it was the full her, and I was so excited, and I'm like, she's waking up," and then she jumped up out of bed after a little bit, after the energy healing, and she was like, "What? Why do we live here? Where's the farm? Where are the chickens? Like, what's going on? Why are we in the city? What?" I mean, really, it was only those 2 sentences, okay, but that was that was a lot. It didn't go on more than that. And she was real excited, and I laid her back down, and then the next morning when she woke up, it was gone. It was too much. She couldn't process it. Um, Now since then, it's been up and down because these are people that are around us, so of course they're getting, if they're around you all the time, they're getting all that energy all the time, and so she's activated slowly, and I feel like now it's better, okay, than right after she woke up and she went immediately to sleep. The other person was a male, and I won't use any names, but he was a male, partner of mine in my life, and, uh, I went and saw him at some point after my activation, and, uh, it was beautiful, because I was feeling great, and, um, although at this point, he didn't have any idea what the heck was going on, and we made love, and when we made love, which we had done many times before, but this time there was a point where I was looking in his eyes and I saw myself. And this was early in my activation and it freaked me out. And everything was cool, right? Got up the next morning, left. And then within about 4 hours, I get a call that he's crying and he can't stop. And, men can't handle that very well. It's changed. It will be easier with the new DNA because the masculine DNA is becoming a little more feminine. The feminine is becoming a little more masculine. We're balancing each other out. But for certain not ego types is what I was going to say, but certain archetypes is what I meant to say. It's difficult, just like I showed up and said, "Hey, man, I'm sorry if I've been yelling at you guys for the past year, telling you, duh, duh, duh." I didn't, it's not how I ever meant for it to be perceived, but now when I look back, I was like that too, of course, you know? So, he couldn't get his work done, he wouldn't even walk in anywhere because he was crying for 3 days, and talking through it and all of that, but then he shut back down, and really that was the end of that. So, you know, I'm talking about this just to share because this is what we're gonna start seeing so much of, and it's very important, that we understand, um, we don't have to rush them to the hospital every time. Remember, I mean, that's all a construct. And I know some of them are gonna mandate that they go, okay? But when you see these things and you can't, you gotta let them do what they're gonna do. But I just wanted to share those experiences, and that is why, for me, my mission's changing, not just because I know what I really love to do, and I know what I've always wished that I could do all day long, talk to people, sing, dance, put on little shows, get the frequency going, beautiful clothes, beautiful, I mean, that's me, you know, Venus. Legit, I'm Venus, okay? But why I feel that is the written role for so many of us to go back to music and back to frequencies and and to wear cool stuff on our face and to just be different and to show up and show everybody, "Hey, we're happy. Look at me, I'm free. I don't care what everyone else thinks. I don't care if someone comes up and goes, 'What's that crap on your face?' or 'Why is she wearing that?' or 'Why did she just dance in the middle of a video?' or, 'What's that? Gosh, whatever. We don't care. It's the fact that they're hearing it. And when they're seeing us and when they're feeling us and even whenever they take a quick glance, that's energy and that's the activation. And again, when we're talking about humanity waking up, now it's not are they going to wake up, it's are they going to stay awake? And we're the lucky ones that realize that we're walking heaven on earth right now. It's moving slow. I'm not saying that we're all living fancy free right this second because it's anchoring, and heck, we're not ready to completely meet our soulmate, which we're coming in union fast, right? And it's not just because ooh, Christy needs to be in a relationship and have a man and da 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 da. No, it's because we are creating energy together, and that sexual energy is the strongest energy, and it's the most alchemized beautiful energy that you can create in this realm, which is why it was being siphoned and why it was being used to control us. So you better bet your booty that the universe and all of our angels and everybody on this planet at a soul level is waiting for the unions to happen. Which brings me to the next topic, twin flames. So we really need to remember that we're all one being. Oh, Ellen's here. Hi, Ellen and Frito B. Ah, I love that name. We're all one seed. So creation started with 4 sets of twins. That's it. That's it. every single relationships that has we've been in. I mean, because remember, at a soul level, we've been here. I mean, even the babies have been here since 636 CE. And we were repeating, because we were putting that record back on, put the needle down, put the record back. I mean, the song was there, the words were written, so we just kept playing it, playing it, playing it. And so what happened? Well, those 4 sets of twins, I know for sure now there's one set of twins that lost a masculine. And so about 2 weeks ago, all of us were getting these messages, and it was really funny because and I did the same thing. All these messages were coming in to give your divine masculine love to if you're in separation, and if their number is blocked, to open up the channel and send them love, send them, just send a message and say, hey, I'm thinking about you, I love you. Doesn't mean I'm it doesn't mean we're getting back together or anything like that. It was just, hey, I love you. Well, I was watching these tarot card readers, and I did the same thing because I picked up my phone and I sent a text to this person and said, hey, we're not getting back together, but I'm just letting you know I'm thinking about you and I'm always sending you love. And the tarot readers were freaking out, like, oh my gosh, spirit told me to do this and I'm unblocking a number. And so then it's all these thoughts of like, because it's like you've already blocked it, you've already let it go. So then it's like, oh my gosh, is that really going to come back in? But then understand on an energetic level what happened. Those 2 days, all of us way showers, all of us divine feminine, were getting the message to send love to our divine masculine. And it wasn't about our divine masculine. It wasn't about a human. It was about all of us sending that energy to a lower, because we were alchemizing that energy as a whole. So when we talk about twins, please remember that it all goes back to 4 sets. So that's one set. One set, the male isn't, we're not sure. We've just released it because they're not gonna ascend, and we've called in soulmates. And this was my twin. This is why I know this. And I don't know if you watch some other channels. Um, Nubian News is a channel, and she gets real raw with it, but she'll tell you straight up about the divine feminine, divine masculine, and what that all really means on a raw level. So check her out. But anyway, she was actually getting this information as well. So if you're attached to that field of the feminine that just lost a masculine, then what happened at an energetic level is that had to be replaced. And so then that basically opened up all these soulmate energies to kind of see who was gonna come up. And we get to like what we like, and we're gonna when we are fully blended, when we're no longer manifesting crazy crap like I did last week. I'm fully aware, that I manifested a situation because it was some stuff that I hadn't dealt with family. So, a lot of us, we're not ready to meet them yet, and they're not ready to meet us yet. But understand too that energetically with relationships, that's one set of twins that represents 1/4 of the population, that's energetic connection that now is releasing a twin, and that now is springing up soulmates. Well, then we have 3 left. So 2 of those twin seeds, guess what? They're Ophiuchians, all 4 of them. And guess what? They're like this. this twin's supposed to be with this person, and this twin was supposed to be with this person, and so they're completely bleh, swip swap, wife swap. Oh, what does that mean? Holy moly. That means energetically, I'm trying to do math in my head all of a sudden. That was 4. So that was 25%. Okay, so then another 50% of relationships on this planet are with the wrong soul. Now, how is that even possible? Well, in a lower dimension, whenever you're on that dimension, if you're in that program, it might have been the right person that you were assigned with in order to get here. But kind of like that ladder we were talking about, it was all kind of band-aided together. It's like MacGyver got in there and like pulled some stuff, man. He was even knitting. We were knitting like dental floss, going, oh, we can pull it up just a little bit more, right? So that means that we've got one couple that's in union. We've got one set, 25% of the relationships on the planet are actually in union, and that's it. Everyone else is waking up and realizing that the being that is now in the physical vessel that we call the human, that's right next to him is not the person that they knew a year ago, much less more than that. And it's happening on a global world, cross cultural, cross boundaries of everything. Because there's no light, there's no black, there's no white, good Lord, we're all freaking starseeds. So, the highest consciousness way to deal with it and to talk about it, if you can, with your partner, and this is what my advice and guidance has been giving, is to just be aware that we don't own anyone. We can't even own land. How can we own land? It's actually our body. We can't own a person. That when someone asks me, "Are you ever going to get married again?" Well, when I hear the word married, which we need a new name for that, by the way. Who's coming up with that? I think Babylonian. It's like my first response is, "I will never be in that Babylonian contract again," is what I say exactly. But will I be in a relationship with someone forever? Like, because yes, completely. But I mean, it doesn't mean they own me. And if I change and if they change, my whole thing with marriage this whole time was I want my man, to have to be able to walk out the door if he is no longer happy. Because my Lord, do not stay around me and make me miserable because you are. And if you're not gonna leave because you think you're gonna lose half your crap and everything else, then you're just gonna do whatever you want anyway, which is gonna make me even more miserable, and then it's gonna ruin a whole bunch of other lives, right? So having that conscious conversation with your spouse or your lover or your friends, and really just realizing that we all just need to hold our hands and grow right now. If we can just have this conversation with whoever it is, and say, look, we are literally dying in our bodies right now and rebirthing and shedding legit like an entire lifetime of energy body off of us. Everything about me has changed. Everything. The way I look, the way my skin looks, the way my eyes look, the way my bone structure is, my cheekbones, the bottom of my spine is bigger. It's gonna open up. It's gonna happen to everybody eventually. Um, my hips have changed. I mean, and that's just my body. It's happening to all of us. And so it's like, why get upset? Because you're becoming you're and instead of, if 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 we literally left this planet right now and we came back new, that's like saying, "Okay, you are mine forever." And like when you come back, when you're birthed again, you better find me because like you're mine and I'm yours forever. That's like boil the bunny, right? uh-uh. And that's literally what's happening right now. Okay? So why are we locking everybody into these relationships? Because remember, we're all sets of twins. So if you're fighting with your lover or your spouse or you're hiding your spirituality still because you're scared of what their mama's going to say, and then we look around and we go, why isn't everybody awake? Well, that's because they're fighting with their husbands and they're hiding in the spiritual closet because they're worried about what their mama's going to think. If you can't have that conscious conversation, then that should tell you something. If you have the conscious conversation and it's like, "Okay, look, no, you don't have to move out. I don't have to move out. We really don't have to change anything. Let's just be open to the fact that we're changing, and I want to tell you how I'm changing, and I want you to tell me how you're changing." Number 1, because we're mirroring each other to help each other wake up, and if we have children together, the trust me, your kids are not gonna be ruined if their parents are not together. That's an old construct. Come on, we're divinely connected. I thought I had to manifest sisters to teach me how to cook to learn how to cook. Well, that was nuts. I thought I literally had to have someone tell me how to do it because in my conscious awareness, I didn't know how to do it until I realized I do know. I just have to trust in my cooking and in my like the same way that I trust in showing up with you guys because we're completely surrendered and we're always connected now. So I hope that that helps. And gosh, I've been on a while. Sending y'all love, getting the kiddos to bed. Bye, Ellen. Thank you so much. Mwah. Mandolins told me so. I mean, we've talked a little bit, but Mandolins told me so much about you too. And I can't wait to start meeting everybody more. And there's so much more coming. You're welcome. You're welcome. Scotty boy. Okay, this is my new friend, Buddy Bubbles. Who's Bubbles? We've been here before. We just have to remember. And we wrote this sucker. We wrote it now. We're stepping back in to the original blueprint that we already wrote. So, are you really, really, really an accountant in the new land? Are you really an engineer? Are you really an architect? Hmm. If you are, then what kind of architect are you? Are you going to be the one that's focusing on the feng shui and the way that the circles move so the energy can flow? If you're an accountant, are you coming up with new ways for money to make sense? And what is it called? Right? You wrote the story, you wrote your part. And truly, when you come out of undercover and you've been undercover so long and you were playing roles that You had forgot, you were like you were an actress lost in your own movie, and you come out of that so quickly because that's what happens, we just get plucked out, and then your discernment and your guidance is telling you, "Stop, you can't recreate anything or do anything that you used to do until you kind of go through a discernment cycle." This is what happened to me. It's happening now. Then we have to, in order to fully step into the story we wrote with no effort, there's always effort. We got to do stuff. I've been working all day, nonstop. Chiron and Aries, hell yeah. But it's not the old work. It's not chasing anything. It's not, it's completely different. It's you know what you're stepping into because you created it. But in order to remember what you created, you have to really find out what you love again. And if you've been playing a part of, if you've been playing the undercover alpha draconic dragon, that had to get all the matrix keys and had to get all the physics and in order to clear it to build the dental floss ladder. Then it's like when you finally get out of there, it's like at first you think, "Oh, man, whew, that's done. Now I'm gonna use all these numbers and da 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 da," and it's like, "Whoa, wait a minute. Is that the part I was playing, or is that really what I wanna do?" Because if I step back in the part I was playing, then I might recreate the whole freaking crime syndicate that I went in to get out of. And when we start asking ourselves, what do we really love and what do we really want, then we have to dive deep and we got to try new stuff. Because here's the good news, too. The story that we wrote up to this point, man, it was locked in for a long time. It was a big deal to make those decisions. We had to really sit with ourselves and man, right? This is what stops us so many times as human, I find, because, and I do this, it's like we scan so far ahead because that's been the past programming. It was like when we made a decision, it's like because it was fractaled. It was like that lesson with that decision could last an entire freaking lifetime, and if you've got so many lessons, then hell, the way it was before, it could take you 50 lifetimes in order to get it completed, living the same story. Well, now it's quantum. Now that story can change in a heartbeat. As soon as you change your mind and you change your focus, it can change. So we don't have anything to be scared about. Take a chance because we can always flip it. And what is it going to hurt to take a chance and go for the dream, the big dream that you want, that's going to make you happy? Because when you find that, and I've got some I kinda have a scale, but I got some digging to do. Because when we find that, that is the role that we always were meant to play at a soul level by all of our ancestors for now, to show up for them. Hadekene boko hosi. Hanenene kono. Oh, and we are so grateful. So, we got 16 people on right now and 16 likes. If you want to hit the like button, great. Please subscribe if you, I mean, who knows? We've got some new channels that are launching that are going to have some different information, and also it's keys to give all of you to put videos up on. Um, there's so many beautiful things coming, and it's all happening very quickly. I got some other exciting news today. Um, we're stepping in and we're all here together and we're all holding hands. And I'm so grateful that the kana bokoro sikini mikini a. Aduno mo ona nene aida sidikina a. Ajuno mo kono kore meki kene mo o sikini emeshine kini ihi. Azunuma ana kena ana sikidi a. We are all bright stars. And we are all shining so bright that we're powering not even the planet, not even this Milky Way, but like the whole thing, the whole body of the one in the reality. Mwah. We call on the highest, and remember to say this, we call on the highest timeline of all dimensions, of all space and time, in this now. Call it in, call in the frequencies, bless the water, bless the burger that you get down the street. Because this is heaven on earth. We don't have to gain weight for real. None of us are gaining weight. In fact, we're losing weight so fast we can't even eat enough. I'll be back soon. Mwah. If you're looking for a star seedology reading, those have been revamped and changing. And actually, that's what I'm working on this week is getting all that information out to get workshop done now that everything is complete. I can anchor down and get that going. So if you're interested in learning star seedology to add it to your tarot, to add it to your astrology, because it is pretty simple. There's just some energies that you have to read and some certain placements, and you can really add it to anything that you're doing to help people understand their dimensions and as they're collapsing those and building their own ladders. And it's all more about the body and about the mind um, and the understanding of some of these locations and the false narrative that it puts you in um, these programs of different realities that aren't real. So be thinking about and see if you resonate with that. I'll be launching more about that. And if you'd like a star seedology reading, email me at coco@cosmicchristy.com. I would be grateful if you resonate that you do in this bridge moment. And that's it. Happy full moon of Virgo and happy the rest of eternity.